She also brought us Dr. Oz and The Secret. We have to remember what this lady has done.
She has to be held accountable.
I forgive her, but I mean, cut the shit. The Secret is a particularly egregious offense.
What, you don't believe?
You don't believe?
Oh,
Believe?
I want to be rich. I am rich.
I imagine myself flying. I can fly. I will beat my wings until I take off.
Her schoolgirl affectations and body movements. Like, okay, ready? Here it is. Like, okay. She raises herself off her chair. Like, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited about this. Okay.
You're so right. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something you haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay. Right, like that.
Right.
Joe Rogan and Megyn Kelly just took a sledgehammer to Oprah's carefully curated empire, exposing the cracks beneath the queen of inspirational branding. While Joe tore apart her feel-good guru machine with sharp humor, Megyn sliced through the veneer with precision. From spiritual sales tactics to staged authenticity, nothing was off-limits. This wasn't just a critique, it was a powerful reality check that left the media icon looking more like a polished product than a guiding light. In the end, Rogan called for better. It's a harsh wake-up call that makes Oprah seem more brand than beacon, and it's absolutely unmissable.
She's no longer in the business of staying up on the news. She's reading undoubtedly from blue cards her staff gave her. That's how the Oprah Winfrey Show was shot. Oprah didn't have to think of her own questions. It was all impromptu or on a blue card for Oprah. She doesn't know she's not making big news with this revelation. She said she'll sign the same shitty so-called border bill that they rejected the last time because it would let 5,000 illegals over the border a day.
It was confusing when that was taking hold with people. When I had friends that were telling me that The Secret is real and that they imagined they were going to fulfill these childhood dreams that they had about whatever, being a whatever it would be. There's a couple people that I knew that were trying to tell me that The Secret was going to be the thing and that they had a vision board and they had photographs, they put pictures up of the things that they wanted, like them in front of large crowds and shit. I'm like, oh boy.
Them in front of large crowds.
This is so not how it works.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back. The moment Oprah's name came up, he leaned into the mic like a man about to expose a magician's every trick, and not the fun kind, but the kind selling enlightenment from a golden pedestal for decades.
Time with the sex podcaster instead. She thought
call the ambulance or whatever it's
the
called.
woman who is talking about
the daddy
how
about
to
the
use
ambulance.
dildos a week early.
Don't stop insulting her. That sounds like...
See the Oprah interview?
No.
She's off the rails.
Yeah,
off the rails.
I heard about it.
Into fucking wine mom country again.
Wow.
I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun.
I did not know that.
If somebody breaks in my house, they're getting shot.
Yes, I hear that.
Tim Dillon is the best. Tim Dillon's like, she's saying gypsy curses. What is she saying?
Joe started by mocking the absurdity of the self-help empire cloaked in luxury packaging. He compared Oprah's phenomenon to the most successful cult that never got labeled as one. She doesn't just recommend books, she canonizes them. She doesn't simply interview people, she elevates them to sainthood. Once Oprah gives her stamp of approval, it's like the laws of physics no longer apply.
So we have got to talk about the failure of the celebrity. Oprah Winfrey. You have no power. You do not have any control over this electorate. Neither do you, J-Lo. Let's take a look at Oprah's final closing message on the campaign trail.
We don't get to sit this one out.
He mocked Oprah's evolution from talk show host to spiritual guru with a billion-dollar smile and a team of enlightenment advisors. Joe found her path to peace formula hilarious. You can meditate, sure, but only after buying the 14-part masterclass, The Oprah-Proved Incense, and a fleece throw blanket stitched with your soul's journey. Want inner peace? Sure, but it comes with shipping fees.
This is the best she can do, by the way. When they give her the talking points in advance, when they say, we're going to have a girl stand up, that poor girl who talks about her childhood sexual abuse. And what does Kamala do? Oprah, I don't know if you've heard this story, but you know, when I was in high school, my best friend was being sexually abused by her stepfather. And I said, we've heard this story so many times, and it makes me crazy because she is using this poor woman's sexual abuse as a valorization of herself.
He roasted the idea that Oprah built her empire on relatability while becoming the physical embodiment of an aspirational Pinterest board. She talks about struggle like she's still living under fluorescent lights, eating canned tuna when in reality, she's sipping imported tea in her $90 million Montecito compound. Joe laughed at the irony of preaching simplicity from a home with more bathrooms than a sports arena.
Remember the time Oprah had that lady on, its face bit off by the chimp? And she showed her face on TV?
Oh, yeah. Miraculously, she survived just the unimaginable. Her name is Charla Nash. Charla almost always covers her face with the hat and scarf. She wears it, she says, because she doesn't want to scare people.
The lady was wearing a veil over her face, like, let's see your face, come on. She pulls the veil away.
Like a Nope?
What are you doing?
Would you mind lifting the veil? Oh, no. So we can see. You could take the hat off. Oh, the hat comes off. Yep. Okay.
Then came the spiritual buffet, and Joe didn't hold back. He argued that Oprah doesn't just sell uplifting messages, she packages them like sacred potions. Every episode feels like a sermon filled with dramatic lighting, gentle wind chimes, and slow-motion shots of tree hugging. He called it emotional fast food. It looks good, feels good, but doesn't do much. Joe pointed out the contradictions. How can someone preach gratitude and humility while branding herself across half of a luxury store? Her name has become so inflated, it could float in the Macy's parade. He pictured Oprah surrounded by lighting, experts, sound therapists, and crystal advisors working together to make common sense advice sound like ancient scripture. His comparison, Oprah's show is a spiritual shopping mall. You walk in sad, walk out with a signed copy of You Are Enough and a candle that smells like self-worth. It's not therapy, it's therapy-themed entertainment. While Joe focused on the spectacle, Megyn Kelly brought a different energy. Her takedown wasn't funny, it was surgical. Megyn doesn't joke when she smells hypocrisy, she dissects it.
I feel as insulted. My intelligence is insulted. I'm bored by you. I'm offended by you. And you know, the thing is, it almost makes me think of Oprah. So Oprah actually was full of profundities when she did that show. You know, I realize I have different feelings about her today too, when she's gone political. But back in the day, you know, when I was young in law school and you turn on the Oprah Winfrey Show, you would hear something that would give you, oh, that's good. That's good. Like something, she's the one we got aha moment from. You know, she had these little catchphrases where you're like, oh yeah, that's something to think about. And her team would set it to music, you know, and they'd slow down the interaction. They put in slow-mo, like her hug with a firefighter.
She began by deconstructing the myth of Oprah as the voice of the people. Megyn questioned how someone who hasn't flown commercial in years, hasn't stepped into a regular grocery store without a film crew, and hasn't faced tough questions in decades could claim to relate to everyday Americans. She argued that Oprah stopped being a mirror of her audience long ago and became a mirror of their fantasies. Not who they are, but who they're told they should aspire to be. Megyn also took aim at Oprah's curated activism. She accused Oprah of choosing causes the same way she selects lighting carefully for effect. She pointed out that Oprah's compassion sometimes feels like branding strategy, not heartfelt concern. Megyn questioned how someone can preach fairness while living so far removed from it. True leadership, she said, means stepping into discomfort, not hosting choreographed living room discussions where the crowd nods on cue. She didn't just say Oprah was out of touch, she showed it.
The pretend laughing is so, like Oprah's pretending to laugh. And by the way, can I just say, I'll let you finish your point on the gun, but the Oprah affect is done. It's so over. Her fake, like, I did not know that, right? Like she's leaning into this like homegirl, like, what? I learned something. And her yelling, she yelled at us all night. Oprah was yelling. I'll show it to you in a second. You take up the...
Then she targeted the heart of Oprah's empire, the business. The part nobody wants to talk about, Oprah has turned motivation into a money-making machine. Every product she touches becomes a bestseller. And Megyn asked the hard question, is it still about helping people or about protecting a brand? She dismantled the Oprah Book Club with the skill of a cross-examiner, calling it a one-woman monopoly on literary success. If Oprah likes your book, you're a saint. If not, you're invisible. That's not empowerment, it's empire disguised as encouragement. Megyn emphasized that Oprah's seal of approval is more about brand synergy than literary merit. She noted that Oprah's image of moral authority softlights, choreographed tears leaves no room for dissent. No one questions her, no one pushes back, and that's dangerous. Because when someone is worshipped, they stop growing, they perform. They live in a compliment bubble so thick, truth can't get through. Back to Joe, he wasn't done. He roasted Oprah's history of hosting pseudo-experts promising inner peace for easy payments. He joked that Oprah became the gateway drug to pop psychology, where every trauma gets fixed during a commercial break.
And they boiled it down to the easiest one, which is dreaming.
Right, exactly.
And that's why it's sold, but Oprah sold it. I mean, she was one of the big ones, man. And she was all in. She was fucking 50 years old at the time. I mean, this is not a young woman who is selling this. How old is Oprah now?
75.
89?
Joe mocked Oprah's empire as built on emotion over fact, tearful interviews and slogans, but little substance. He joked it's like offering a scented candle to a burning house. He also slammed her political endorsements, calling them curated, not principled. Megyn followed up by highlighting Oprah's selective silence, arguing she only speaks when it benefits her image. The every woman persona, she said, is a facade. Oprah hasn't challenged the system, she's become it. Megyn concluded that Oprah's legacy isn't empowerment, but a culture of emotional indulgence disguised as growth.
I used to love Oprah, like most of us who grew up when we did. And only now did I realize I've been getting spoon-fed propaganda from this woman for years. I always took her little setup packages as gospel. You know, before I was a reporter, I never even thought to question whether Oprah might be intentionally misleading me. Then last night, the dawn came and I was like, oh my God, she is not a reporter. She's a propagandist. She's trying to shove messaging down my throat of whatever she...
Joe took the baton and went after Oprah's wellness influence. He found it absurd that someone with a decades-long public struggle with weight is now considered a fitness guru. One moment it's diet pills, the next it's radical self-love. Joe joked Oprah's body journey is like a reality show with rotating diets, and every season ends with a standing ovation and a new book. He mocked the contradictions. Be your authentic self, but first, reinvent yourself 20 times. Love your body, but here's a subscription to fix it. He compared it to selling freedom while tightening the leash, and the punchline, people still buy in. Megyn wasn't laughing. She pointed out the damage, the confusion, the mixed messages. Oprah's advice becomes gospel, and when that advice is vague, inconsistent, or unchallenged, it doesn't just fall short, it misleads. Megyn stressed that influence without accountability is a dangerous mix. And Oprah, cushioned by layers of fame, rarely answers for her missteps. No press conference, no apologies. Just the next book, the next brand, the next episode.
There was a story I was reading about Oprah, unfortunately, where this woman had terminal cancer.
Hey.
And she had stage 3 breast cancer and just decided that through The Secret, she was going to imagine herself a healthy person.
Yeah.
And then, she eventually wound up dying from it because she didn't get treatment.
Joe closed with a sharp jab, imagining the self-help world collapsing if Oprah retired. She's the keystone, he said. Without her, countless influencers would be lost. But Megyn clarified, this wasn't about tearing Oprah down, but stripping away the glamour to show that even media icons are just people with flaws, agendas, and unchecked power. Together, they expose the contradictions and emotional branding behind Oprah's image, not out of spite, but frustration with a culture that mistakes applause for truth.